Welcome to the second video of the step-by-step transition to a healthy diet. If you happen to miss step 1, you can check it out here. Today we're going to talk about whole grains, another incredible food that most people are just not getting enough of. We're going to cover their amazing health benefits and some tricks to get more of them into your diet. Okay, quick question just to keep things interesting. Which of the following is not true about oatmeal? A, it lowers your cholesterol. B, it promotes weight loss. C, 1 cup of oatmeal has half the iron in a steak. Or D, 1 cup of oatmeal has as much protein as an egg. Pause the video if you need. We're going to cover all the answers. Let's go. Whole grains are anti-inflammatory, they lower your cholesterol and your blood glucose, and they're linked to lower risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and overall mortality. Not a bad list. Whole grains are superstar foods. Brown rice, oatmeal, quinoa, corn, couscous, kamut, farro, barley, etc. What if you're gluten intolerant? Does that mean whole grains are off the menu forever? Not at all. We'll come back to this in a second. But first, what makes whole grains so special? Most of us eat too many refined grains. Things like baked goods made from white flour, white rice, white pasta, artificial cereals. Those foods are highly processed, so most of the fiber is stripped away, so the absorption is not natural. They spike your blood sugar too much and too fast. Whereas whole grains in their natural state have that fiber package with its double job of slowing down absorption and feeding your gut microbiome, which thrives on fiber. Okay, but this whole process, this video series, is about taking one step at a time so the changes stick long term. So all I'm suggesting today is add 1 serving of whole grains to your day. A small bowl or about a fist-sized portion, ballpark. You don't need to obsess over exact amounts. So that's today's actionable step. Does 1 serving of whole grains make any difference? I mean, why should I bother? There's a strong association between whole grains and risk of disease, and even risk of death. Even eating just 1 daily serving has been linked to 25% lower risk of all-cause mortality. That's 25% less chance of dying of anything. Okay, what if I just have some white bread or white rice or white pasta? It's grains, right? Isn't it all the same thing? Unfortunately not. Refined grains don't give you that benefit and may actually increase your risk of disease, so you really want to shoot for the unprocessed real deal. Okay, which whole grains are we shooting for? The default is always go with your personal favorite because it makes it easier for the habit to stick. You don't want to fight an uphill battle, but here are a couple suggestions. The most obvious one is oatmeal. You can have it in the morning, overnight oats, most delicious breakfast ever. And if you have it with fresh fruit, you knock out steps 1 and 2 of our transition at the same time, just like that. How healthy is oatmeal really? Let's take a quick look at it side by side with another popular breakfast, eggs. Bowl of oatmeal versus 1 large egg. If you eat 2 or more eggs, just multiply. Okay, what nutrients are we looking for? We've covered this in previous videos, but based on USDA recommendations, you want to shoot for low saturated fat, low cholesterol, and high fiber. So, saturated fat, 3 times more in the egg. Cholesterol, very high in eggs, most concentrated source of cholesterol among common foods, 0 in oatmeal. In fact, eating eggs can quickly spike our blood cholesterol levels. What about oatmeal? Since it doesn't contain any cholesterol in it, we might expect eating oatmeal to leave our blood cholesterol levels unchanged, right? No, it actually lowers both your total and bad cholesterol. It also reduces body fat and improves liver function. Oatmeal is one of those amazing foods where the health benefits almost seem too good to be true. Also, the oldest man in the UK, 111 years old, attributes his longevity to eating oatmeal. So that proves it. Oatmeal is healthy. Just kidding, that's completely anecdotal. What about fiber? 4 grams in oatmeal, 0 in eggs. And protein, which is something people always focus on, even though it's totally not an issue like we covered in the protein videos, they have exactly the same, 6 grams in each. Another thing people worry about a lot is iron. I made a whole video about it. The egg has 3% of your daily needs, oatmeal, 77%. As a reference, a steak has 33%. Of course, you could eat 2 eggs for breakfast and get 6% of your iron, but then you also have to multiply the cholesterol and saturated fat by 2, so you pay a pretty high price for very little iron. Does that mean you should never eat eggs again? No, that's for you to decide. We're just looking at our different options. If eggs are a huge deal to you, have the bowl of oatmeal, and then if you still want the egg, have the egg. Today's step is only about adding 1 serving of whole grains to your day. Nothing else. Okay, what if you don't like oatmeal? Or you're tired of it? No problem. Have any whole grains you like. A bowl of quinoa curry, some risotto, corn on the cob, or in a salad. There are endless ways to enjoy your whole grains. I'll add a couple recipes and links in the description, so check those out. What about this story that grains promote inflammation in the gut and should be avoided? There's a whole trend of people going against the grain. Well, like most fads, This one is not based on strong science. In the vast majority of people, whole grains do not induce inflammation and can even be anti-inflammatory. However, if you're one of the 1 to 2% of people with celiac disease or another form of gluten intolerance, then you want to avoid gluten. And that means barley, wheat, and rye. The vast majority of grains have no gluten. For example, I have no problem with gluten, I'm not trying to avoid it, and yet my diet most days is gluten-free. That's because most of the foods that contain wheat, barley, or rye are baked goods, and they're usually highly processed with all kinds of additives, so I usually try to avoid them or at least minimize them. Now, sometimes contamination can be an issue. Some grains that don't contain gluten, like oats, are processed in facilities that also process wheat. So if that's a concern, you want to shoot for certified brands, like certified gluten-free oatmeal, which are processed separate from wheat, so you are 100% safe without having to give up on the benefits of grains. So even if you are gluten intolerant, you can still enjoy the benefits of most whole grains, and if you're not, like 98% of people, then you can enjoy them all. So pick your favorite and have at it. We'll cover step 3 next time. Until then, enjoy your whole grains, and I'll see you soon.